This month we are featuring 203 Edwardian Underthings as one of our patterns of the month, and in this pattern we teach you how to do a feather stitch, lace insertion, as well as crocheted edging. So I'm going to show you a very brief video on how to do the feather stitch. So I'm going to show you how to do a basic feather stitch. I made 4 lines with a water-soluble marker. It's Crayola. I like using those, especially or only on fabric that you can just wash it off. But it helps to have these 4 lines, especially when you're starting out doing a feather stitch, because there's basically 4 sections that you're going to be using to do this feather stitch. So I'm going to show you right now. I have a knot in the bottom of my thread, and I have 3 strands of an embroidery floss. So I pull it up through the top one, I go down 2, and go through, and I keep the thread to the side a bit like that. I'm going to go up about 1/4 of an inch to the left of those stitches on the second line down, and then I'm going to go down to here just below that stitch on the 4th line, again holding the thread, and then I'm going to come up through again about hold it a little tight, about 1/2 inch towards, or 1/4 of an inch, sorry, towards this side, and up again and up to the top line. I'm going to pull the thread to the side, pull it down, go over again about 1/4 of an inch, and up, and so on. And this makes a large feather stitch. So you just continue this pattern on and on as long as you want. So I've made this stitching a little bit longer, and I'm just going to finish it off now. Pull up through the last stitch, and instead of going down here and making another stitch, I'm just going to take a tiny little stitch almost in place, and there it is. I'll tie it off in the back, and that is a feather stitch. Now this feather stitching is a little bit smaller, and I did not use the lines like I had in the last one to do it. You can also do feather stitching the other direction, and I will show you how to do that. We'll do it without lines, and we'll see how good I am here. So it's a little bit trickier when you're not left-handed. I'll come up about midway between these 2 stitches and a little bit over, and then I'm going to go down about the same amount and come up again midway between those 2 stitches, and up, and then back up to the top again, and down, leaving a little bit of a loop there to come up through again, and down, and again coming up halfway between those 2, and so on. So you can see that this can keep going in this direction now rather than in this direction. So it's a fun stitch you can do in 2 different directions. And I'm going to show you an example here of the feather stitch used on a garment. This is the petticoat from the 203 Edwardian Underthings pattern, and you can see the feather stitching here is used to finish and decorate the hem of this garment, along with some lace and some tucks. It makes a delicate and beautiful finish to any handmade garment.